Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Motorsport Madman and this is qualifying ahead of the 2022 Singapore Grand Prix. If you are new to the channel, if you are a Formula 1 fan, then please do get yourself subscribed because I'm live for every single qualifying and every single race in the Formula 1 World Championship. And we are heading into a damp qualifying session after a practice session that really didn't get going a couple of hours ago. We saw some frantic running at the end of FP3. It was raining. It eventually dried out to a certain degree. There was some laps set on the intermediate tyre at the end of the session, but I cannot wait for this qualifying session. Could this be the day where Mercedes are back? Can Mercedes take the fight to Red Bull? What can Ferrari do? Can Leclerc bag another pole position? Can anybody stop Max Verstappen? Can we get a surprise today? I would love to see a surprise pole position today. It's overdue, but yeah, we're round 17 qualifying. Let me just turn down the music. That's going to be blaring like all things. But yeah, we'll whack down the music now. But yeah, guys, welcome in Ernesto, Chris Poundcoin, if you're here. I don't know, obviously there's a big football game on at the same time, so might not be many people in for quali. But the race will be 1 PM, so the race will be an hour earlier tomorrow. So I'll be live at 12:30 for the race, starting at 1 PM, just to do a bit of a build-up and talk about what's going to happen today, basically. See what happens in qualifying. But yeah, I'm going to whack the headphones on, get fully set up and ready for it. Here we go. Chris is in for quali. Hey, if there's any I know it's 2-1, isn't it? Arsenal Tottenham. But a Tottenham and a man sent off anyway. Gives an update if there's a goal. But yeah, I've got a half an eye on that. But yeah, 3-1 is it? Ooh, Denver will be loving it. Denver will be on it tonight. But yeah, here we are then. We're back with the old setup. We're back how the stream used to look in about June. Yeah, we're back to like May, June settings. Full commentary mode, yeah. So let's see what happens. But I just wonder, I was looking at the build up and the pit lane still looked a bit damp. But I don't know how wet the circuit is. We'll find out in the next couple of minutes. Qualifying 1 is due to start in about 4 minutes' time. Yeah, Denver will be loving it, Anto. Denver will be still top of the league. But it has been raining. I just wonder how damp it's going to be. But I think if there's no more rain, I think you're going to see the slick tyres, if not straight away. Eventually as the track dries out. But yeah, let's see. I want to see the track conditions here now. I haven't seen all of the build up. But yeah, track temperature 26 degrees, 81% humidity, track temperature, air temperature 26. Still hot, whether it's raining or not in Singapore. It's still a hot evening. But let's see. I hope we get some kind of a surprise today. I feel like Singapore can bring a surprise, especially if it is damp. If there is some rain, I feel like Singapore is prime for a surprise result today. Let's see. I hope so. Hopefully you can hear me all right. I know the green screen isn't going to be perfect, but it is what it is. I know there's going to be. It's because of my shadow. It's going to show up a bit, but I think it's better than me being in the corner in a little red box with a little. Nah, I think this is overall. I've tried both methods of no green screen and green screen. I think overall, when I look back at the streams weeks later, months later, and I look back and I flick through them, I think it was better before. It was better in. I looked back at the streams I've done this year, and I look back at May and June, I thought, they actually look good. And then as the months have gone on, I've gone in the wrong direction. I've ended up where I've been just in the corner, like just a little postage stamp in the corner. And then like just data. And it's like, nah, and no colour. It ended up black and white, and with me just a postage stamp in the corner. And I thought, nah, and I went back to May, June, I thought, no, it looked better then. So we've gone back to June settings. Well, it's a combination really. It's sort of developed, but I feel like it looks better now than it has done the last few races anyway. The GPS just wasn't worth it. Like, I had live GPS for the last couple of races, but it looked awful on the stream. It made the stream laggy. It was hard to see who was who anyway. It was adding no real benefit to the stream. So we're not about the live GPS. Obviously there's other channels that do the live GPS, but I'm more about the commentary, it's more about my commentary than it is about the data. So there you go. That's the direction I'm going anyway. But yeah, the two Mercedes already waiting at the end of the pit lane then for Q1 to start. Shall I get a timer up and going? If it's... Yeah, there's no lags. The thing is, Anto, I had it where it was all just data and tracks and everything, and it was all lagging, and it was all... And then I was just like, it reduced to like just this postage stamp thing in the corner with the little red box in the corner. I looked back at it and I was like, no, it's not the one that. It was better in June. It was better in May. So yeah, we're sort of. I think this is a pretty decent setup. We've still got all the live timing stuff on that side, and then I'm on this side, and then we'll be all right. I think this will be the layout from now to the end of the season. I think these last 6 races will look like this. It'll just be a different background image, and it'll just look like this for the last 6 races. I think that this is the way to go. But yeah, so the session is underway. I'm not bothered with the timer. In fact, let's get the live timings up on the thing though, so that they're going to update for us. So yeah, the live timing should update. If the live timings don't update, I can just refresh it. But yeah, George Russell's out of the pits. Well, we've already got 6 or 7 cars out of the pits, and straight away with 30 seconds in to this 18-minute Q1 session. As I explain every time, if you don't know how qualifying works, if you are new to the stream, if you are new to Formula 1, the track is still damp. The track is still damp, so it's definitely intermediate weather tyres for at least Q1. So yeah, if you don't know how qualifying works in Formula 1, it's split into 3 sessions. So you've got Q1, Q2 and Q3. So we have got an 18-minute Q1 now, at the end of which, when the time runs out, the slowest 5 drivers are knocked out and their grid position is set for the race. So if you end up 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th in this session, that's your grid position locked in and you're out. Then the top 15 go through to Q2. That's a 15-minute session, at the end of which the bottom 5 of that will be knocked out and their grid position will be set 11th through to 15th. And then the top 10 will go into a Q3 pole position shootout. That's a 12-minute session, and that's how it works. And then the top 10 fight it out for pole. So this is the first of 3 sessions with 16 minutes to go, and there are 8 drivers out on circuit, all on the intermediate tyres. We've got both Mercedes out, both Alpha Tauris, both McLarens, a Williams and a Alpine. And now everyone else is piling out of the garage as Russell starts the first flying lap of the session. So George Russell looks like he's going to be the first man. Whoa, and the back end is Larry. We run a damp circuit here in Singapore, and it's been a few years since we've seen... The last time we saw a damp circuit in Singapore, it was absolute carnage with both Ferraris crashing into Verstappen off the line, and it was absolute chaos. But yeah, we have got a damp qualifying session. Whether it will dry up by the end, whether they'll be on slick tyres by the end of Q3 remains to be seen, but it is intermediates for Q1 at least, and it is Hamilton quickest of anybody in Sector 1. He's quicker than his teammate George Russell through the first sector. George Russell down into turn 10 then. Some parts of the circuit look pretty dry. Oh, but some of it... Wow, this really is a slippery one. This is a slippery session in Singapore. How about that for a bit of alliteration? Slippery session in Singapore. That's the headline. That's the news headline, guys. Already written. Russell, purple, middle sector then. Oh, and that back end is, oh yeah. Look at how wet it is in the final sector going towards turn 18. It looks really wet. Whoa, and then you go under the grandstand. First Singapore Grand Prix as well since 2019. Obviously with COVID and all the rest of the issues, there has not been a Singapore Grand Prix for 3 years. But we're back. And Russell goes quickest because he's the first man across the line. And but Lewis Hamilton beats that on a 1 minute 56.9. Lando Norris is in the final sector now, just coming under the grandstand, turn 19. 13.5 minutes to go, guys. We've got a Mercedes 1-2, Alpha Tauri 3-4, and Norris has backed off. So he obviously wasn't happy with that final sector. Backed off and getting ready for another go is Lando Norris. So first attempt, he was not a fan of at all. Ricciardo goes P5 on a 1:59.7 then. Only 6 drivers have actually crossed the line to set a lap time. Nicholas Latifi slots into P6, but obviously he is slowest of the people that have set a representative lap time so far. And pretty much everyone is out of the garage, apart from the two. Interestingly, the 2 Alfa Romeos have stayed in the garage. Not keen to get out for the first 6 minutes of this session. It could be shot pole. I hope so, Anto. This is my hope for the session, that we get a surprise. The season is due. I said it last week, last race in Monza. We're due an upset or a surprise or a shock or a bit of drama. It's overdue, you know. Last year we had a couple of shock winners, you know. We had, Ricciardo winning a race and, a couple of shock podiums here and there. This year it's sort of been the same story for most of the time. Last year we had like Ocon winning in Hungary, Ricciardo winning in Monza. There was a few like dramatic results. We're overdue that. We're overdue some sort of, we've had Alonso front row in Canada, and the Russell pole in Hungary was a highlight. If you're looking for upsets, but there's not been anything major. I'm up for a bit of an upset today, as Sainz crosses the line, goes P4. So it's now Russell, Hamilton, Ocon, interestingly, up there in P3. Sainz goes P4 and Gasly now goes P5. Everyone on the intermediate tyres, by the way. No one's risking slicks yet. You wouldn't. I mean, I don't even know why I said about risking slicks, because it's nowhere near slicks. But interestingly as well, Russell's gone over a second quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Russell on a 1:55.8. Hamilton on a 1:56.9. So over a second. We've got a yellow flag sector 3 as someone spun, gone off. We're going to cut to an incident as Leclerc goes quickest on a 55 flat, 0.8 of a second quicker than George Russell's Mercedes. We've got a green flag now. I think it was Verstappen who went off. I think Verstappen went off then. He's no damage to the car, didn't hit anything, but I feel like as we cut to Max Verstappen then, he was rejoining the circuit from somewhere. But yeah, Perez, it's gone purple, sector 1. Vettel goes 13th. Latifi, yes, I did, Anto. I was talking about that in practice a couple of hours ago, because there was nothing else to talk about and there was no action on circuit. So that was what practice 3 was about, talking about that potential budget cap breach from Red Bull. So we'll see what happens. I think there's going to be a statement on Wednesday about that. So keep posted. And it was Kevin Magnussen who went off and caused the yellow flag. And also Charles Leclerc has been off as well. Well, he was close to the wall on that pirouette as well. So it is now a Ferrari 1-2, by the way. We've got Leclerc and Sainz both on a 55 flat. 25 thousandths of a second separate the top two. 9.5 minutes to go. And Lewis Hamilton goes quickest on a 54.6. Okay. The times are going to tumble now. But yeah, I did read about the thing. Latifi P6, but yeah, no, Latifi's 15th now. As Norris goes 6th on a 56.7. 2 seconds off Lewis Hamilton's pace. So it's Hamilton quickest at the moment, halfway through this Q1 session on a 54.6. Leclerc 3.5 tenths slower than that. And Russell a full 1.1 slower than Lewis Hamilton. But I feel like everyone that crosses the line from now on is going to improve. The track's just going to get better and better, and eventually someone's going to risk a set of slick tyres. But who's going to be the first one on the slicks? Will it be in this session? No, I think it's just too wet. Around turn 17, yeah, turn 17. Turn 17 looks like the wettest corner on the circuit, and that's what's sort of the limiting factor about them going on to the slick tyres. Yeah, definitely turn 17 is looking pretty damp. Zhou Guanyu then round the final corners, 8 minutes to go in Q1, and goes 14th. Okay. Live time should be working and updating. Should be okay. On board with Pierre Gasly. Coming up to turn 16, 17, and that's the wet part of the circuit. Still into, says Max Verstappen on the team radio, but it is getting towards a crossover point pretty soon. I don't know if anyone will risk it in this session, but I would imagine Q2 might be dry tyres. We've got 7 minutes to go. It's Verstappen who's gone quickest now by 0.3 of a second. So Verstappen sets the pace on a 1:54, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Green. Okay. So it was fine. Maybe someone just went a bit wide, went off circuit. But we are back underway again with a green flag immediately. So it's Verstappen quickest then from Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz. Leclerc and Sainz separated by absolutely nothing in 3rd and 4th. Then George Russell is a big chunk behind that. So you've sort of got a top 4 and then everybody else. As Stroll goes 5th. On a 1:55.6, and Lance Stroll has had a couple of standout moments in his career in mixed conditions, as Leclerc goes quickest over Max Verstappen by nearly 0.2 of a second. Leclerc now sets the pace in the Ferrari on a 1:54.2, as we're on board with Valtteri Bottas in the final sector, looking really cautious over the curbs in turn 20 and 21. He's going to attack this final double apex 22 and 23 and cross the line for P12 only for Valtteri Bottas. We've got 6 minutes to go in Q1. Zhou Guanyu goes P8. Let's go. Zhou Guanyu being confirmed as an Alfa Romeo driver for 2023 just a few days ago. Esteban Ocon goes 8th. And Sergio Perez goes 3rd for Red Bull on a 54.4. Just under 0.2 off the pace, as we are on board with Max Verstappen for a replay out of turn 21. And being held up by what looks like a Ferrari. No, held up by his teammate. Oh, wow. So Max, in a twist of fate, held up by Sergio Perez coming around the final couple of corners. Max finishing a lap and Perez starting a lap. Oh, wow. Max fully lost the rear end there on a replay. Exit turn 10. Wow. And replay on board with Alexander Albon at turn 18. And just aborts that, it locks up, aborts it, goes off into the runoff area, and is able to pirouette and rejoin the circuit. Replay with Lewis Hamilton struggling with over the damp curbs. You don't want to be touching them. Cut to Daniel Ricciardo, who is down in 18th. He's down in 18th, 5.5 seconds off the pace is Daniel Ricciardo. McLaren with this new special livery for this weekend. I'm not a fan of it myself. I've seen a lot of love for this McLaren livery on Twitter, but It's not for me, orange and pink. It's a strange combination, but that's the least of McLaren's issues at the moment as they sit 11th and 18th. Ricciardo looking to improve. He's gone personal best in the middle sector. We've got 4 minutes to go in Q1, at the end of which the bottom 5 will be knocked out. In that bottom 5 at the moment then is Albon, Latifi, Ricciardo, Magnussen and Schumacher. That's both Williams, both Haas and Daniel Ricciardo's McLaren. We are less than 4 minutes away from the end of the session and them 5 being knocked out if they don't improve. Daniel Ricciardo then round turns 20 and 21. And round the final couple of corners he comes then. Daniel Ricciardo to the line. Where's this going to put him? P12. So McLaren sit 11th and 12th with 3.5 minutes to go. And it's not really... I wouldn't be that confident about that, really. Sitting 2.2 seconds... Well, in Ricciardo's case, 2.7 seconds off the pace. In P12, doesn't seem that secure. So they'll definitely be going for another lap, as will pretty much everybody else. Kevin Magnussen under the grandstand, round turn 19. And the final chicane. Haas haven't set a representative lap time yet, neither of them. So they're under pressure here with just over 2.5 minutes to go. Magnussen to the line then and goes P6. Kevin Magnussen goes 6th on a 1:55. And Mick Schumacher goes P10. So it's 6th and 10th for Haas as they now show their hand. And they needed to show their hand. They're running out of time. But yeah, 6th and Haas, 6th and 10th for Haas, and that has put the cat amongst the pigeons now. With Kevin Magnussen going top 6, everybody else is going to be looking at that and going, oh, we're in trouble. So nobody, just for the record, nobody's gone out on the slick tyres. Nobody's risked the slick tyres. Everyone's laps set on the intermediate tyres. Everyone's out on the intermediate. And interestingly, everyone is still out there. 2 minutes to go. Nobody's thinking we're safe. Let's get in the garage. All 20 cars are on circuit. It's Leclerc from Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Magnussen, Stroll, Russell, Alonso, Bottas, Schumacher, Ocon, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda, Albon, Latifi. With 1 minute and 40 to go in Q1, at the end of which bottom 5 be knocked out. That bottom 5 is Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda, Albon, Latifi. We're on board with Alexander Albon. Hi Ryan, welcome to the stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to qualifying in Singapore, Ryan. You had to brush your teeth for this one. Anyone? Only Chris understands that. Everyone else is like, what do you mean you got to brush your teeth? But yeah, we're on board. Alexander Albon helmet camera this weekend that he's got. He's into the final sector now. Whoa, and they oversteer round turn 17 there. Full Tokyo drift mode for Alexander Albon as he comes under the grandstand, then turn 19. He's sliding around, yeah, Alexander Albon. But he is last at the moment, so Albon is under pressure to improve then with the time just about to run out. So these are going to be the final laps now. Well, Albon might get another go with 22 seconds to go. But Albon will have one more chance. He's improved to P16, but that's not good enough to get out. Something that I've noticed that I haven't seen mentioned is Gasly and Tsunoda running different front wings. Gasly and Tsunoda are running different noses on the AlphaTauri. It's significantly different. Gasly goes P11 and he's safe then. For now. Tsunoda's P8. It's Hamilton quickest by a second. Hamilton's a second quicker than the rest of the field. We've got a yellow flag sector 2 and 3. As someone crashed. As Vettel crosses the line, goes P11. Ocon's definitely out. So Esteban Ocon is the first man definitely confirmed is out. We've got yellow flags. I think Lance Stroll has had an issue. Green flag now, then it is. Maybe Lance Stroll had to pull a cheeky pirouette. And we're on board with Daniel Ricciardo, and he's out. Ricciardo only 16th, so Ricciardo, Ocon, and Latifi all out. Latifi's last. Ocon's out. Come on, Mick. Mick's down there in 17th, but he's still yet to cross the line. Come on, Mick. Come on, Mick. Bottas is safer now in 15th, but Mick and Ricciardo, Ocon and Latifi are definitely out. Schumacher and Albon, I reckon Albon's out as well. Come on. Come on, Mick. Come on, Mick. Mick's coming under the grandstand now. I think Alexander Albon's out as well. So this is all down to Schumacher. Can Schumacher knock Bottas out at Q1? Come on, Mick. Come on. He's set personal best sector 1 and 2. Come on, round the final couple of corners. Come on, Mick. Earn your seat. Show that you deserve a place in Formula 1, Mick. Bang! P14. Let's go. Gets through. And knocks Valtteri Bottas out. Mick Schumacher through to Q2. Get in. Let's go. I'm not biased, but I am when it comes to Mick Schumacher. Championship contenders, I couldn't give a damn who wins. But Mick, he's through. So P14, so he knocks out Valtteri Bottas. So knocked out in Q1 then is Valtteri Bottas, P16. Daniel Ricciardo, P17. What can you say about that? Esteban Ocon, a shock, out 18th. Alexander Albon in the Williams, knocked out, P19. It's unbelievable, quite frankly, that he's even racing this weekend after being in intensive care 3 weeks ago. So fair play to Alexander Albon for beating his teammate, and who will line up last on the grid is Nicholas Latifi. So that's Q1. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like for Q1. Mix through. Mick pulling out of the bag at the end. Let's go. Both Haas's through. Both Williams out. Both Aston Martins through as well. Aston Martin are looking fairly decent. Where did they end up in the end? So it's Bottas, Ricciardo, Ocon, Albon, Latifi out. Stroll was 13th. Vettel was 11th. So both Aston Martins through. Both Haas are through. Both Alpha Tauris are through. Zhou Guanyu is through in P10. So Bottas knocked out in P16. Zhou Guanyu easily into Q2 with a P10. So Zhou Guanyu proving that he does deserve a seat in Formula 1. Obviously, as you can see, the news scrolling by, 3 driver announcements in between Monza and this weekend. Latifi will not continue with Williams into 23, but Tsunoda has been confirmed at Alpha Tauri, and Zhou Guanyu has been confirmed with Alfa Romeo for 2023. Oh wow, Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1 full time. Denver will be on it. Brilliant, Ryan. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Danny Rick, I know, Anto, he's out again. We're just in the break in between Q1 and Q2, so we'll be getting Q2 underway in the next few minutes. And I wonder if we will see slick tyres. I think we'll see slick tyres in Q2. I think Esteban Ocon complaining about a brake problem on his final flying lap. But he is out. He's probably the shock elimination. I mean, is it that much of a shock that Daniel Ricciardo got knocked out? I hate to say it, but it's not really a shock that Ricciardo's been knocked out. But it is a shock that Esteban Ocon, who I reckon is the most underrated driver on the grid, so for me, it is a shock that Esteban Ocon, who I rate up there with with Leclerc and Russell and Norris and those guys, and Gasly. I rate Ocon right up there. But it's not been his day today. Whether it's a car issue, like he's saying that he had no brakes, or whether he's just made a couple of mistakes. But Ocon out in P18. Probably be his worst grid position of the year, I would have thought. Obviously, Alpine have been fantastic in terms of consistency in the top 10. But Alonso, I think, was easily through. Where did Alonso end up? Alonso ended up P9, so Alonso was through with ease, as was Zhou Guanyu. He will be very happy with that. Bottas knocked out in Q. I think Bottas had an incredible run of not being knocked out in Q1 for like... I want to say that Bottas hadn't been knocked out in Q1 for like 7 or 8 years or something, like 6-7 years. And then it's happened twice in the last few races, I think, that he's been knocked out in Q1. Sort of like almost back to back. So, gutted if you're Valtteri Bottas. That record's come crashing down. But yeah, we are starting... whoa, and both Ferraris nearly crash into each other as they exit the pit box. Now, that's something I've never seen. That would have been a first if the two Ferraris collided coming out of the garage. Yo, Tax, welcome in. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're following this qualifying session, but I might have some bad news for you. Danny's out. And what I was just saying, Tax, is it's got to a point where it's not even a big shock anymore. It has become normal. Daniel Ricciardo will start the Singapore Grand Prix from P17. We're just about to start Q2. In fact, Q2 is underway. There's 14 minutes on the clock. Sean's here. Nice one, Sean. Welcome in, bro. We are underway for Q2. So, at the end of this session, the bottom 5 have been knocked out. So that'll be P11 through to 15th. This is all about being in the top 10 and surviving through to the Q3 pole position shootout. And I think there's still everyone's coming out on the intermediate tyres, but I think we're not that far away from seeing slick tyres. I think we'll see, if I was to predict it, I think we'll see some slick tyres before the end of this Q2 session. I think someone will risk it, even if we don't get a Ferrari, a Red Bull, Mercedes gambling on a slick tyre. I think you might see like a Lance Stroll risk a set of slicks, or Zhou Guanyu, or even a Haas. Both Haas's are in this session. You got a Magnussen and Schumacher both there. Will they risk a slick tyre? I think we'll see a set of slicks before the end of this session. If we don't, then obviously there's still some very damp parts of the circuit. Turn 17 looks a bit damp, but yeah, Leclerc already saying over the team radar that it's drying up. I don't think we're too far away from slick tyres here. I think someone's going to gamble it, surely. If you're not in a championship fight. I mean, look at that. We've got a shot there at turn 21. That looks bone dry. But yeah, everyone is just about to start the first flying lap of the session. Then Sainz is going to be the first one across the line. Just woke up. You'll gamble it. Yeah, Sean, you'd gamble it, wouldn't you? You'd gamble it on a set of slicks. It's been raining, but the rain stopped, I think, like an hour ago. The track's been drying up. There is some damp. There's some damp patches, few puddles here and there. But I think you can get away with a set of slick tyres now, set of dry tyres. But it is the two Ferraris on flying laps. Then we're following Carlos Sainz down into turn 7. And it looks bone dry. He's on the intermediates. Everyone's on the intermediates, but it's looking bone dry in turn 8. There's a slow turn 9. Now, we've got a long corner here now. It was damping to turn 10 before. Let's have a look at the circuit now. We're on the front wing cam of Carlos Sainz's Ferrari. And now he's going to go over the bridge. It looks pretty dry. Leclerc's gone purple in sector 1. So Leclerc looking quick in this Q2 session straight off the bat. Hello, the peaceful guy. Welcome to the stream. Peace. Lando Norris goes quickest. So Lando Norris is the first one to set a lap time. So it's Lando Norris on a 1:53.9. 4/10 quicker than Pierre Gasly on a 1:54.3. And then Kevin Magnussen sits third on a 1:55.1 as Zhou Guanyu crosses the line. But he's a full second off that. Alonso goes P2. And the Ferraris are coming round the final couple of corners now. Here comes Carlos Sainz. And it's Leclerc fastest in the middle sector. And Sainz to the line. Well off the pace as Leclerc goes quickest. So Sainz obviously backed off there because he's 6.5 seconds off Leclerc's pace. Leclerc now with a 52.3 goes quickest from Lando Norris. And Hamilton slots into P2 on a 53.9, albeit of 2.5. Was it a hell of a lap from Charles Leclerc? It seems like it. Verstappen quickest in sector 1 though. You're drying up, yeah. You'll be fastest, Sean. Yeah, you put a set of slick tyres on it, Sean. You go quickest now. You go put a set of soft tyres on now. Boom, quickest. I can't believe no one's gambled it yet. I think any minute now you'll see someone in the pits for a set of dries. Verstappen goes second, 4/10 off Charles Leclerc, and Perez makes it Red Bull 2-3. And yeah, Anto, it is drying up now. I think we've got 9 minutes to go in Q2. I'm surprised we've not seen one of the midfield runners in for a set of slicks. You know, if I'm Schumacher or Magnussen or Stroll, Vettel, I'd do it. I would gamble it. I'd go, give me a set of soft tyres and let's see what happens. I think it's that turn 17 that's putting them off. Down into turn 18 as well, under the grandstand. Looks a little bit slippery around there. I think it's definitely that turn 17 that's sort of making them think, oh, I don't fancy a set of slicks around there. But the rest of it looks bone dry. I mean, look, coming round these final 2 corners now, that is bone dry. As Sainz crosses the line, then goes P4. So it's Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Norris, Alonso, Stroll, Gasly, Vettel. So bottom 5 with 8 minutes to go is Schumacher, Magnussen, Russell. Interestingly, not really set a representative lap time here. Russell down in 13th. Tsunoda and Zhou. Yeah, no worries, Sean. No worries, mate. Yeah, so Leclerc saying that the slick tyres would be very risky. It is for Leclerc. I agree. If I'm Charles Leclerc, I don't do it. Whoa, this is the thing. George Russell at turn 8, locking the front wheels on a damp patch. That's what's putting him off. I think there's a bit of water into turn 8 and a bit of water at turn 17. I think it's slicks, man. I think if it, Leclerc's right though. It's too risky. Look at that. It's wet there. That's what it is. And if you're on a set of slicks, you're going to skid into the wall if you get on that damp patch. It's turn 8. I don't know. I think it's turn 8 and turn 17 that's prolonging this intermediate running. But we've got 6.5 minutes to go. I wonder if anyone's going to risk it in this session. It might be Q3. It is, like, you know, Martin Brundle's saying we're right on the cusp of switching to the dry tyres now. As Kevin Magnussen crosses the line, I don't think he's improved. Yeah, everyone out on a brand new set of Inters, so still no one risking it. 6 minutes to go. Oh, Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, who sits quickest on a 152.3, is asking for the slick tyres. Is he going to be the first man? You know, I was saying, oh, it'd be one of the midfield runners will risk it. It's Charles Leclerc going for the big gamble. He doesn't need to gamble it, does he? Sitting P1, but then again, if everyone goes on the slicks... do we know if Rooney's at the track? 5.5 minutes to go, and we're watching Sebastian Vettel round the final few corners, then turn 20 and 21. No, he's put a new set of... No, Charles Leclerc's not risked it. He's been overruled by the team, and Leclerc's coming back out on a brand new set of intermediate tyres. Now, here's a man who might risk it. Here comes Sebastian Vettel into the pits. Now, I think they'll put a set of slicks on this Aston Martin. I think if you... Then there we go. And now Lance Stroll is on a set of slick tyres. It's Lance Stroll, your first man. Called it. No, it makes sense now for Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, Haas, Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo. We have got 4.5 minutes. This could really put the cat amongst the pigeons now. You know, what if Stroll goes quickest on a set of dry tyres? Then you've got a massively panicked last 2 or 3 minutes. So Stroll and Vettel are on the soft tyres. I think Gasly's going to come out in a set of mediums. Oh no, Gasly's on the Inters. So only Aston Martin have risked it with 4 minutes to go. Hey, tell you what. We've got different theories. Whoa. There's different theories. Norris is in the pits. Alonso is in the pits. With less than 4 minutes to go. This is critical now. I want to see what the Aston Martins can do. Hamilton, purple, middle sector. Thing is, when those Aston Martins get to turn 8, oh, that will be sketchy. We're watching George Russell in the middle sector going across the bridge. Don't forget Kim's... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll sort it after. I fell asleep yesterday after getting sat from school. Oh, my God. Welcome in, Kim, anyway. Welcome to the stream. You join us 3 minutes from the end of Q2. And Aston Martins are risking the slick tyres, so let's see what happens. We've got mixed conditions in Singapore. It's old age. It's just falling asleep at random points in the day. Right. Here comes George Russell round the turn 20 and 21 chicane. And looking a bit slippery and slidey on the exit. Avoids the wall, but not by much. And Russell crosses the line and goes P7 and a 154 flat. So he's 1.7 seconds off the pace. Right, replay on board with Lance Stroll. This is critical now. Stroll's on the slicks. Coming over the bridge. Okay, chill. Brake. Chill. Lance. Oh, I feel nervous. You know, Lance is sliding around on those dry tyres, and I don't think it's working. Is it? I don't think the slicks is working. Zhou Guanyu's on the soft as well. So we've got 3 cars now risked it on a set of dry tyres. Stroll, Vettel and Zhou Guanyu. But so far it's not working for the slicks. We're less than 2 minutes to go in Q2. Vettel 1.8 seconds off in the first sector alone. Scrubbed Inters is the way, I think. A set of intermediate tyres that have done a couple of laps is probably the optimal. But I'm glad they risked it. Whoa! Vettel nearly in the wall down at turn 12. Ooh. We've got 1 minute, 10 seconds to go. So they'll get across the line and they'll get one more chance. Oh my God, Vettel's on full opposite lock into the hairpin. Nah, Slicks isn't it. But I'm glad they had a go, but Slicks ain't it. It's too early. But they had to give it a go, you know what I mean? You may as well, but it's not working. Cut to Yuki Tsunoda, who's coming down to the hairpin. Yeah. Inters is it for Q2. I don't know whether we'll see some dry tyres in Q3 maybe, and that could spice it up. But at the end of Q2, then, as the time is running out with 20 seconds to go, it's Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Norris, Russell, Alonso, Stroll, and Gasly. So under pressure and in danger of being knocked out is Vettel, Schumacher, Magnussen, Zhou, and Tsunoda. Of course, we've got Stroll and Vettel on the slicks as well as Zhou in 14th, but it's not working. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda then round the final couple of corners and crosses the line and goes P6. Yuki Tsunoda. I think he's going to get through with that. I think Tsunoda's in Q3 with that. Here comes Kevin Magnussen, goes 8th. So Magnussen through at the moment, but there's still 12 cars to cross the line. Alonso, purple middle sector. Alonso, fastest of anybody, middle sector. We're on board Mick Schumacher coming under the grandstand then, turn 19. Come on, Mick. Can you make Q3? Fernando Alonso's quickest of anybody in middle sector. Unbelievable. Come on, Mick. Mick comes round the last couple of corners. Come on, to the line. Go on, Mick. Oh, no, he's out. He's out. Mick Schumacher's out. 13th at best. 13th at best for Mick Schumacher. Here comes Pierre Gasly. And Gasly goes P6. Both AlphaTauris looking to get through. And Alonso goes P5. Russell under pressure. George Russell under pressure. Okay, we're watching Lance Stroll. Oh, wow. No, Stroll's going to be out. Stroll's out in P12. The slicks didn't work. Russell's out. George Russell's out. George Russell will start the Singapore Grand Prix from P11. Russell, Stroll, Schumacher, Vettel, Zhou Guanyu, all out. So both AlphaTauris through. It ended up Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, Tsunoda, Norris, Magnussen. So Kevin Magnussen through as well in P10. So knocked out, just to confirm that, knocked out is George Russell, P11 in the Mercedes. Lance Stroll, P12. They risked the slicks. It didn't work. Mick Schumacher, P13. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sebastian Vettel, another driver that risked the slick tyres, didn't work. So Vettel will start from 14th. And it is Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo, also risked the slick tyres, didn't work. P15. Here's a replay on board with Sebastian Vettel. Ooh, no, it's not the one. Ooh. No, slicks wasn't the one. They had to gamble it though. At least he tried, didn't it, Anto? Exactly. The risk could be good. It didn't turn out good, but at least he tried. And kudos for that. They said Russell to win it. I got Russell podium, I think. But yeah, that's the end of Q2. That was good. Q3 will be in about 3-4 minutes or something like that. But yeah. American NASCAR, yeah. I used to watch NASCAR back in the day, about 10 years ago. Yeah, I used to watch it, but it is fun. It's a different vibe, like. You know, NASCAR's got that vibe, like boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing, boys. You know what I mean? It's got that American like cheesiness to it, which I like. but no, Formula One's the pinnacle of motorsport, and it's nothing comes close to it in reality. So yeah, both. I think the upset there is definitely George Russell being knocked out in P11, and both AlphaTauris getting through. Norris through as well. So the thing is, Norris embarrassing Ricciardo again for what? The flipping 17th time in 17th races. Norris embarrassing Ricciardo. I mean, Norris with the. I mean, to be fair. Norris is with the upgraded McLaren this weekend that Ricciardo will get in Japan. So Norris has got a little bit of an advantage this weekend with the new parts. McLaren have totally remodeled the side pod. Sort of gone, looks a bit Red Bull to me, the new McLaren side pod. But yeah, Norris with the new upgrade package gets through to Q3. Daniel Ricciardo languishing down there in P17. And I think because Ricciardo's been spotted in the Mercedes garage, I think Ricciardo's negotiating a test/reserve driver role in Mercedes. I think that's where he's going to go. That'll be my shout as of right now. Is that we'll see Daniel Ricciardo in a Mercedes reserve driver role, because that spot might be going, because I think Nick De Vries, or Nick De Vries, however you want to say it, Nick De Vries is going to sign for AlphaTauri, and I think, as far as I know, Nick De Vries is the Mercedes reserve and test driver. I think Ricciardo will take that spot, so he'll be off the grid next year, I think. We'll see. Maybe he'll get a Haas seat, Ricciardo, or maybe he'll end up at Williams, but I don't know. Maybe he will go as the third driver for Mercedes, I think, the reserve driver. And we'll see, more than likely, Nick De Vries at AlphaTauri alongside Tsunoda. And we'll probably see Pierre Gasly at Alpine alongside Ocon. That'd be my bet. And what else? Williams. Williams is a tough one to call. Who they replace Nicholas Latifi with? That's a tough one. Could they bring Hülkenberg back? It'd be a bit of a dull one for me. That could they bring Giovinazzi back out of his role with he's Giovinazzi with Ferrari at the moment, like as a development driver or something, reserve driver. I don't know. I think Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg would be a bit meh if they signed either of them two. Maybe they'll go. Maybe they gamble. They go Logan Sargent. I don't know. The Williams second seat is hard to call. Daniel Ricciardo, will he go for it? I doubt it. Maybe Mick Schumacher. Maybe there's a scenario where Schumacher's dropped by Haas and Williams pick him up. I could see that as a scenario. But then who gets the Haas seat then? Who do Haas sign? Are Haas going to go Giovinazzi? Are Haas really going to go Magnussen Giovinazzi over Magnussen Schumacher? Is that an upgrade? To me, that's a sideways step. I'm a big Mick fan, but he's not set the world on fire. I think going from Schumacher to Giovinazzi for Haas is a bit of a sideways. Or Schumacher to Hülkenberg. Maybe. But then Hülkenberg and Magnussen don't really get on, but is that really a factor? I don't know. But there's a few merry-go-round, there's a few seats to be confirmed yet, so we'll see how it ends up. But I think we could end up seeing Ricciardo not on the grid for next season. Right, here we go then. Let's get Ed back in the game. We're on Q3 is underway. Q3 is underway, and Ferrari are going on slicks. Ferrari are going for slicks. What are Mercedes doing? Mercedes slicks. Right, this is it. They've switched. They're going slick tyres for Q3. Here we go. Now we could see someone bin it in the wall here. We could get a red flag or two here. Look at these brand new shiny set of slick tyres. Russell might get top 7 in the race. Yeah, probably. So this is it. 11 minutes to go in the fight for pole position. In that fight for pole position is Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, Tsunoda, Norris and Magnussen. Who's going to take pole under the lights in a damp Singapore, a damp, slippery Singapore circuit that has seen some rain over the past couple of hours, but it is almost dried out now. There's a little bit of... it's damp at turn 8. It's damp at turn 17. Can they survive? Tsunoda and Magnussen on the intermediate tyres. So we've got 8 drivers on the dry tyres and 2 drivers on the intermediate tyres. Well, yeah. It is turn 17. Turn 8 and turn 17 are the limiting factors. That's where it's slippery. Slipperiest. I don't think I've ever said slipperiest before in my life. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Yeah, that's NASCAR, that, Flabby, yeah. I like this sort of cheesiness of it, but this is a place to be. So Verstappen's going to be the first one to set a lap time. He's first one across the line, and now begins his flying lap. So yeah, so everyone's on the brand new set of soft tyres, apart from Yuki Tsunoda and Kevin Magnussen. They're out on the intermediates. They're not confident yet for going to slicks, but everybody else on the slicks. So you know, both Ferraris, Red Bulls, you know, Hamilton, everyone else on the slicks. Let's see what happens here. Verstappen looking cautious round turn 8. And didn't before you say it. What? I didn't even see. Did something? Well, you have done it before. I've seen it because I didn't see anything. So get in. Yeah, well done. I fully didn't even see that. That is something that YouTube have changed, actually. They now, when someone gets banned or blocked or whatever, it fully deletes, so you don't even see the name or anything, which is better, because people were trolling with the actual name of the channel. So yeah, they get fully deleted now when you delete someone, which is it's an improvement. But yeah, 8 minutes to go for pole position, and it's Max Verstappen purple sector 2. So fastest of anybody, Max Verstappen through the middle sector. Yeah, dating spam. They're ruthless, them dating bots, aren't they, at the minute? Here comes Max Verstappen then to cross the line. He's the first one to set a lap time on the soft tyres. 1:56.9. This is interesting. Right. Intermediate's quicker. Right, Hamilton, this is on the cusp. Right, Tsunoda's gone quickest on the intermediate tyre here. Hamilton, wow, this is on the actual... it's nearly even between intermediate and slicks. I've never seen this before. This is weird. Tsunoda's quicker on the intermediate tyres and the track's dry. The track's dry, everyone's on slicks, and Tsunoda is quickest on the inters. Hamilton now beats that. He's 2 seconds quicker. No, I think that's got to be it. Lewis Hamilton has just absolutely gone bang. Have a slice of that. He's 3.8 seconds quicker than Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. A 53.0 for Lewis Hamilton, 2 seconds quicker than Tsunoda, who's supposedly on the better tyres. 2.5 seconds quicker than Leclerc, 3.8 quicker than Max Verstappen. Unbelievable. 6 minutes to go in Q3, and Lewis Hamilton has slapped down a lap that may not be beaten. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I said we're due for an upset. If Yuki Tsunoda gets pole position, mate, that is something I can back. But Tsunoda's still sitting P2 as Verstappen now. But he's still 1.2 seconds off Lewis Hamilton. So Verstappen goes second. But the thing is, Hamilton's on a 53 flat. Verstappen 54.3. Lewis is on it. Lewis Hamilton is on it. Purple sector 1, sector 2. He's looking to improve. He's already slapped the entire field and he's looking to improve. Alonso goes quickest on a 52.5 with 5 minutes to go. Oh, weird. This is grandstand stuff, this. This is grandstand finish stuff, this. Leclerc goes quickest by 0.6. Now here comes Lewis Hamilton. Boom! Hamilton goes quickest on a 51 flat. I tell you what, the track is improving so much. We've got a yellow flag sector 3. This could be anybody on pole. This could be anybody on pole. And Max Verstappen now lighting up the timing screens, going purple sector 1. 4.5 minutes to go. Oh, Gasly's in reverse. Right, come on, put it in first, Come on. Get going. So, Gasly in reverse there. But he's up and running again. Max Verstappen's going to roll. Oh, he's gone deep. Verstappen's struggling in turn 17. The car's sliding all over the place. Now he's going to come under the grandstand. Turn 18. Turn 19. Oh, oversteer again under the bridge. Don't hit the wall there. Now the final chicane of turns 20 and 21. Careful on the edge. Oh, he's going to hit the wall. Oh, he's so nearly in the wall. Is Max Verstappen coming around the final corner now? He's going to cross the line and go second. 0.2 of a second slower than Lewis Hamilton. So it's Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Norris, Perez, Sainz, Tsunoda, Gasly and Magnussen yet to set a time in P10. 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. This is a proper qualifying session. This could be anybody. Sergio Perez. Sainz goes P4 then. 1.2 seconds off the pace. We're on board with Sergio Perez coming round the final corner. Oh, it's so risky. He comes across the line. Perez P3. So it's still Hamilton, Verstappen. Perez slots into P3. He's 7.5 tenths behind Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes. Whoo! Let's go. It's been a long time since I've seen Lewis Hamilton this on it. Lewis is on it. Three minutes to go. We are watching Kevin Magnussen round the final sector then. He's yet to set a lap time. Tsunoda needs to come out on the soft tyres. The intermediate's not worked. It looked like it had at the beginning of the session, but by the end of the session, it's definitely slicks. And Kevin Magnussen crosses the line and goes 8th. So now we have got the compulsory lull as they all switch onto a brand new set of tyres for one more go. Pierre Gasly replay on board coming into turn 18. Yeah, he just locks up on the damp patch and just has to go straight on down the runoff, down the escape road, and then whacked it in reverse and come back out onto the circuit, which you don't often see. You don't really want to see a car in reverse during a qualifying session. In fact, I used to have a thing when I used to race online on the F1 games. I always used to say to myself, if I'm ever hitting reverse at some point in an online race on F1 game, it's gone wrong. If I'm ever in reverse, just quit. Game over. I always used to think that. If I have to reverse, mate, you're not winning. But Alonso goes quickest. Fernando Alonso on a 150.7 has gone fastest. Leclerc beats that by 1.3 seconds. It's now Charles Leclerc on a 149.4. Oh, everyone crossing the line is going quickest. Verstappen's purple sector 1. This can still be anybody. This can still be anybody on pole position. Alonso on the front row at the moment with 50 seconds to go. Come on then, Max. Max is quickest of anybody, sector 1 and 2. Oh, but he's deep. He's deep in turn 16. Oh, it's so sketchy as they go under the bridge. Oh, it's so sketchy. Bit of oversteer. Right, really cautious on the power. Look at how the short shifts. 20 seconds to go. No, he's backed off. Verstappen's backed off. Verstappen's aborted the lap, so oh my God, Verstappen's going to have one last chance. It's Leclerc, Alonso, Hamilton, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Gasly, Norris, Magnussen, Tsunoda, top 10. 6 seconds to go, so these laps are critical. Sainz isn't going to get another go. This is it. Sainz goes second at best on a 49.5. It's a Ferrari 1-2 at the moment, but with still 9 drivers to cross the line. Right, so Perez goes second. So it won't be Perez on pole position. 22 thousandths of a second between Leclerc and Perez. Alonso tagging the wall coming out of turn 19. Go on, Fernando. He's personal best sector 1 and 2. If Alonso slaps it on pole, mate, I will die. Here comes Alonso. Oh, P4. P4 for Fernando Alonso. Hamilton fastest of anybody, middle sector. Come on then, Lewis. Let's go. Hamilton out of the turn 2021 chicane. He's coming round the final corners now. Hamilton, quickest of anybody, middle sector. Come on, Lewis. Oh, P3. Leclerc's in the pits. Hamilton. Oh, my God. There's half a tenth between the top 3. There's half a tenth between the top 3. And Verstappen has gone a second quicker than Verstappen, rapid in the middle sector. At the moment, it's Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, top 3. But Verstappen's on a flyer. Magnussen goes P8. This is one of the most dramatic qualifying sessions of the season, if not the most dramatic qualifying session of the season. But it's still Charles Leclerc. The gap between the top 3 is unbelievable. There's 54 thousandths of a second between the top 3. But here comes Max Verstappen out of the final chicane. And he's gone green. He's pitting. Verstappen's going to be 8th. Verstappen's going to be 8th in the Grand Prix. Verstappen's going to start the Singapore Grand Prix from P8. It's going to be Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, Sainz, Alonso, Norris, Gasly, Verstappen, Magnussen, Tsunoda. Charles Leclerc takes pole position in Singapore from Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton, and the top 3 separated by 54 thousandths of a second. Incredibly close between the Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes for pole position there. The closest we've had all season. That was the best battle we've had for pole position all season. That could have been any one of about 7 drivers that got pole position there. In the end, it was Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. What a session. What a session that was. We've seen multiple qualifying sessions this season where it's nailed on who's going to get it, and it's like obvious who's going to be on pole position. That was anything but obvious. That could have been any one of about 6 or 7 drivers on pole position. In the end, it's Charles Leclerc by something like 22 thousandths of a second quicker than Sergio Perez, who was something like 22 thousandths of a second quicker than Lewis Hamilton in 3rd. What a session. Separated by absolutely nothing, the top 3. What a session. Join me for the race tomorrow. No, that was good. That was seriously entertaining stuff. That, and Verstappen had to abort his final flying lap. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason was. Verstappen is absolutely fuming. Verstappen is absolutely fuming. He had to abort his final flying lap, in which he was fastest of anybody in the middle sector. But he has fully thrown all the toys out of the pram. Don't worry, Max. You'll be world champion next weekend. Let someone else have a dub this weekend. He'd probably still win it from P8, to be fair. Who am I kidding? Anyway, that's been qualifying for Singapore. What a session that was. And it is an interesting grid, that. Oh, right, guys. I will be live at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for the race starting at 1 p.m. We don't know what the weather conditions are going to be. I wonder if we might... It's forecast rain all weekend, so you never know. We might get a damp Singapore Grand Prix. The last time that happened, I think it was 2017 or 18. It was absolute chaos. But yeah, join me for the Grand Prix tomorrow. That was qualifying. It's Charles Leclerc on pole, from Sergio Perez, from Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen down in P8. What can he do from there? Please do drop me a like if you enjoyed the stream. Subscribe if you're a Formula 1 fan. I'll be back tomorrow, 12:30 for the race. Peace, guys. Cheers for everyone that's been in. Anto, Chris, Flabby G, Ernesto, the OG crew. Thanks for being in. Join me tomorrow, 12:30. I will see you all later. What a session.